recent history, we began to talk about planning. Our focus was on planning as it relates to cost, counting the cost, and we hinted on planning as it relates to time. That will be the crux of our conversation today. Hi, if you're new to this platform, my name is Mugbe Pashakin, and I would like us to continue our conversation on planning. I'm in a bit of a mood for today because planning as it relates to time is consequential. Unfortunately, not many people make the most of time, and it doesn't stimulate joy or happiness when your conversation is coming from a place of the helplessness that people feel as you see them still struggle through it to make things count. It is not easy, and that's why I think it would benefit us to have this conversation. People could learn, we ourselves could learn how to talk and begin to ensure that we make amends. Of all the things that the Creator made, many things anyway, I actually have a theory that everything in time is quite irreversible. And that's why you shouldn't hurt people, because the words you say, the things you do, a simple apology does not reverse them. Why? Why can't I just undo my actions? Because in my own perception, time is a womb where we incubate things, we incubate actions, we incubate words. We sow seeds in time. And time itself, it's irreversible. That's why the most consequential miracles in scriptures were things that reverse time or reverse things that were done in time. Look at when Joshua was fighting that battle and the sun had to stand still. That was an impact on time. Look at when Hezekiah wanted a proof of his miracle and asked for time to move backwards. That was an instance of time. And the most consequential miracle in all of history, the death and resurrection of Jesus. Time essentially split into two, the old and the new, and it has stayed the same till date. So we can see that time in itself is irreversible, and the things that impacted time in history were literally mind-blowing, mouth-gaping miracles, nothing short of miracles. But again, there's a reason it's called a miracle, because it doesn't happen every day. It's not a regular occurrence, meaning many of us wouldn't experience such miraculous events of time being altered, stopped, reversed, accelerated in our own lives. Yet, we make everyday decisions that has impact on time. I'm one person who doesn't fancy winter for anything. I don't like the season at all. Every winter I get into this, why do we need to have winter? What's the purpose of the creation of winter? But I think it's in the book of Genesis where it says, as long as the earth remains, seed, time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease. Meaning time wouldn't stop. The seasons wouldn't stop. In my own estimation, the very first thing God created was time. And the things that mark the orchestrations of time. So it's important for us to plan our time properly. What does it mean to plan your time properly? Meaning when it's morning hour, you do things that befit the morning hour, that would make the afternoon hour go smooth, and that would ensure you have rest in your night hour. How absurd it is to see a 40-year-old man learning how to crawl. A 40-year-old able-bodied, healthy man learning how to crawl. Every decent person would be shocked. It is an aberration. Why? Because you would expect to start seeing the signs, effort to crawl at 6 months. A 40-year-old, able-bodied, healthy man learning to crawl at 40 years is an evidence that something was wrong for a minimum of 39 and a half years. And as ridiculous as that is exactly how some of us have lived some aspects of our lives. Many people stay in the face of potential, thinking they could achieve anything or do anything at any point in time when they wake up. It is not always the case. Potentials are like seeds. You've got to put them and plant them in time, in the season of sowing. You've got to do the work during the afternoon phase of life. What I would say, the time where the seed grows, incubates, germinates, the seed, the time, and the harvest, such that when the harvest season comes, you're bringing in the sheaves of joy. You're not in sorrow, you're not in regret, you're not winging it, you're not at the mercy of your neighbor who worked hard in the season of sowing. As much as I hate winter, I make plans for winter. As soon as it's fall, I review my winter wardrobe and ensure I have the things I need for winter. There has never been a winter where I went shopping for winter in winter. No, because while we have expectations of winter, we don't know the exact day winter would come. So you could have some extended fall and summer for a while, and the next temperature drops quite drastically. You don't want to start rushing to the store when that happens. You wake up one morning and it's suddenly colder than your normal sweater, and you don't have a winter jacket in your wardrobe. Nobody does that. Your lofty, sunny summer beach vacations are not vacations you take in January, February to a winter destination. Why? Because the January, February in Iceland is frozen, except you want to go down to Australia to have a good time. Well, the timing of events in Iceland. So, if you want to experience some summer beach vacations in Iceland, you wouldn't be going there in January, February. And if your plan for vacation is January, February, and you want a nice, warm beach vacation experience, you should be going to Mombasa in Kenya or some other warm places in the world in January, February, because you have an understanding of time. What do you need to plan properly beginning from today? How do you need to restructure your life? What phase of life are you in? Are you in your seed time? Are you in the process time, where time sits in elongated format? The time that is not very interesting, the time where you put in the work, the time where you watering, you're praying, you're showing up doing boring, mundane things, clearing weed out of your life in preparation for the harvest? Or are you in the harvest phase of your life? Remember, the harvest is when we also have seed to plant for the next season. So if you're a grandparent, what seeds are you planting for your grandchildren or great-grandchildren? Or is everything just ending on you, like Hezekiah was so happy to have the blessings of God end on him without adequate plans for his offspring, even when he heard the curse coming on them? He didn't bother. He was content that the travels wouldn't happen in his lifetime, and that was good. Lifetime. That's not a very wise, non-selfish use of time. So what time are you in life? What plans are you making? Have you misappropriated time? And are you reaping the consequences of that? What lessons have you learned that you could share with other people? Could you write a book? Could you be more honest to people? just so that the people coming after you could learn these lessons and take appropriate measures and not repeat the same errors that you have made? And could you still make the most of your time? I'm not an agricultural expert or scientist, but even I understand and know that different crops come in different seasons. So I would assume that the harvest season for, let's say, maize could be the planting season for maybe tomatoes or something else. So have you missed out on a particular season for a particular type of outcome? Is there still opportunity for you to make all the plans, to sow all the seeds, or are you giving up already? Planning in a timely manner according to the order of life could help you unveil resources you didn't even know you had in you. The parable of the talent can be rephrased as the parable of time. The wise servant worked with their talents in the time the master was away, and they yielded a harvest, they yielded profit that they delivered back to their master. The other servant that had one talent buried his talent in time. There was nothing done with that talent. And when the master came, it remained dormant. A potential. Look around you. Look at what we benefit from people who made the most of their time to work with the talents they had. Internet, electricity, air transportation, road transportation. Just imagine the tons of food that would have gone to waste if we didn't have improvement in that industry. Just imagine if what some people were content doing was just to pay their bills and go to bed and wake up and just wing through life. Working with time, planning with time could ensure that your talents are not buried for your own benefit, for the benefit of the rest of us that share this timeline with you, and to the great advantage of unborn generation that would enjoy the fact that you came to this earth at a time like this. The Lord is counting on you. If you're the best graduating medical student, best in surgery, best in medicine, best in everything, what advantage is it to you and to the rest of the world if you sat on that degree and did nothing for 60 years and just left the world with the badge of honor on you? Nothing. No life saved, no new babies born through you, no bodies healed by your hands, nothing. That's exactly what happens when we sit still in time and do not plan according to time. So I would hope that you are challenged and motivated to get up. There's the school of thought that says that time is money, and I would assume that's a school of thought that extends to saying time is a scarce resource. While I agree with those schools of thought, I also somewhat agree with the school of thought that says whenever you wake up is your own morning time. So let's assume you're just waking up to start planning your life. Start. You might not have too much of time left. You could have misappropriated time doing mundane things, burying your talent. But now that you're awake, let your eyes be open and make plans properly. Let this be morning for you and plan properly according to your life. Even if you're 60 or 70, you could have 20 years left. There's a lot you could still do in 20 years. So I want to challenge you and encourage you and motivate you to get up and plan, knowing that time itself is working in motion. Seed time, harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease as long as the earth remains. So what do you want to harvest? Start planning for your harvest today. Let's catch up again some other time.